Well, YouTube person who may be watching this, I've no idea if I'm looking into your eyes or not, but all my other videos, I'm looking off to the side. It's just not clear with this camera of mine how to make eye contact with whoever's watching, just like everyone else does. So, please, dear God, send me some tech support or something. Anyway, I'm not really sure why I'm sitting down and doing this. Maybe it's because I feel like, well, it's scriptural. Tomorrow isn't promised, and I do feel not that healthy today. And I'm not sure why, but it's just a state that I'm often in. But anyway, let's not worry about that. I'm grateful to have had the operations that I needed to fix my skeleton as best it could be done before these times of the hospitals being so overloaded. So whatever you're doing out there, I hope that you're not suffering, because, it's not nice, pain. But anyway, I was going to get off that topic, wasn't I? So hopefully you've had a good week. I've been listening to the radio every so often this week, and I know what I want to talk about. I heard Tova O'Brien tell this amazing story about getting rid of warts. I don't know if you're like me, but quite often if I feel or I find out that, a celebrity has had something, a similar experience to me, it's like, oh, well, that's a bond. Yes, of course it is. Let's delude ourselves that it's got anything to do with, because a lot of human beings have them, don't they? Things like warts in common. And warts are one of those things that are hideous, make you feel horrible when you have them. And she had the experience of her parents telling her that they got some steak, rubbed it on her hands or wherever they were, and then buried the steak in the garden. And I thought, wow, and it worked. And that's how she remembers it. And I was like, wow, how pagan is that? And my mum was a bit the same with, sort of witchy things that I didn't really realise were witchy at the time, that she taught me, which I in turn taught my children, and really regret now, because I realise that's just, not really, I would prefer that I had never done that or been shown that. I also have a story about warts. The reason, which is why I connected so much with Tova's story about the warts, and my story, because I had it was so embarrassing. I remember I was probably about 4. I'm just going to adjust this. There we go. Otherwise, I feel like it slips down, and I feel like I need to be slipping down in my chair myself so that it stays. Maybe I should just hold it. Anyway. Right. Warts. I was about 4. I came down, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, on my own again. Because, of course, Mum had gone out somewhere, and hadn't bothered to say, oh, I'll just be at the neighbours, or I'm just going to just whatever. So yeah, come down to the kitchen, left on my own again. And I remember looking down at my hands and thinking, because I'm ugly. And I distinctly heard a voice say to me, "You're beautiful." And didn't really think much about it. But then, in fact, maybe the order of how things happened is that, yeah, I was down in the kitchen. I noticed that the floor was pretty dirty, needed a sweep. So I got the, I got the broom and started sweeping the floor for Mum. And yeah, I noticed my warts because they were rubbing, on the handle of the broom. And yeah, it was around then that I thought to myself, she went away and left me because I'm ugly. And, because of these warts kind of feeling. And yeah, heard a voice say to me, "You're beautiful." And didn't really think too much about it. It wasn't inside my head, it was really like somebody was there beside me and had said that. But of course, there was no one there, I was just there by myself. All upset because Mum had left me on my own again. Without even telling me. So anyway, and my warts just disappeared because it seemed to be, as they rubbed on the wood of the broom handle, they were falling off, and I was sweeping them away with the rest of the crap that had been on the floor. And I remember just the last few, just kind of peeling them off, and they were gone, all gone. That's just such a nice memory that I have. And so that was how mine disappeared. I do remember, maybe I had some more later, because I do remember being, unless going to the doctor and having them burnt off, or was it frozen off, a couple of them. Maybe, I can't remember. I can't remember the order, but I do remember at some stage going to the doctor and having some frozen off, and that was when I only had a couple. But anyway, the ones when I was sweeping the floor, I had lots of them, quite a few. Like I probably had about a dozen on my fingers. Horrible. And yeah, so that was my wart story. And I totally believe that worked for Tova, because a lot of it is, let's face it, there's such a thing as spells that work. And but yeah, good to be rid of warts for everyone, however they go. What I wanted to say about the thing that my mother taught me, it was the wishbone thing that I'd taught my kids in return. Like when you have a chicken, get the wishbone, dry it on the kitchen window ledge or whatever, and then make a wish. And it was always with my older brother, and it was never good. I don't really care if I won or lost, but he did. And sometimes he would quite savagely kind of break it. He wouldn't gently pull it to see. He would, but it was always, it was just a negative thing. and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm a Christian. That's my belief. And I've heard it said that sin, like, get a glass of pure water, drop some black ink in it, and you may not see the black ink drop that's dispersed all through the water, but it's still there. And sin is like that. It's like a seed. And it does say in the Bible not to do magic stuff. And when I think about it, how was doing the Wishbone thing, because it's not asking God or praying and telling him what you would, making a wish over a chicken bone. It's just a little bit, it's the thin end of the wedge. At the other extreme is animal sacrifice. And that's where burying meat in the garden is well, yeah, it's not what I would have done, but if my parents had taught me that, I would have, or would have been fine with them doing that for me if it had got rid of my warts. Yeah, because these things get passed down, don't they? I mean, this is not a criticism or anything, but just trying to share my experience with the purpose, hopefully, of someone else who needs to hear this, finding it useful. And the reason why I feel that, or I know now, that the chicken wishbone thing, and you can scoff all you want, you can call me crazy if you like, I don't care what you say, but I know from my own experience that Christians can have demons. Ideally not. I mean, you can be a Christian and keep a control over all these things. I mean, if your walk with the Lord is strong enough, you'll be totally filled with the Holy Spirit, and the demons will flee because they don't want to be around that. But if you've had trauma in your life, if you've had generational curses, if you've done occult things, these are all open doorways for demonic possession, as in for a Christian to possess a demon, and that can take over if you're not careful. It's just that the seed. Fruit starts with a tiny seed, doesn't it? But anyway, I'll just tell you this other experience that I had, that I've been trying to build up to, I mean, it's the end of the day, you know, getting on for 10 o'clock at night. I've had quite a busy day, and trying to focus. Right. Let me put it this way. After I finally, because the body keeps the score, right, when it comes to trauma, the trauma I couldn't hold it back any longer. I had to deal with it. I mean, I've given myself broken teeth from clenching my jaw so tight. Headaches and migraines, because I just have not wanted to deal with the pain of what had happened to me 40 years earlier. 40 years. But anyway, I forgive all those people, and I'm over it, but that's how long it took. It was so shocking to me. It was so traumatic. It took me 40 years. I was in a state of shock and just could not live my life the way I should have done because of that, and the bad decisions I made trying to hold back that memory and just pretend it had never happened. and that I wasn't affected by it. But of course I was. So it was, that was Queen's birthday weekend 2017. And so we're now just after the Queen's birthday weekend 2022, so 5 years ago. So this would have been probably about 4.5 years ago that I was standing in my kitchen. I don't know, was I making a sandwich or something? But suddenly I had the weirdest experience. And like I said, you can call me crazy. I'm just going to adjust this a bit more. You can call me crazy if you like. I couldn't care less. But what happened to me was suddenly it was as if I wasn't looking, because here's my bench, the cupboard's just there. It's like it was like my eyeballs or my vision went zoop to the back of my skull. So it's like my eyes were looking into my head, and it was like my head was this empty ball, but it was actually it was like it was lined with tongue and groove or something. I'm just thinking of like the Globe Theatre now. It was like a globe that I was looking into, and what had kind of triggered that was hearing a voice inside my head and by this ear say to me, my name's Wishbone. I was one of you first. And it was a demon. That was a demon. And I did not like the mocking tone of this demon's voice. And it was at a time, I think, when I was going to prayer ministry or I'm not very clear on, but let's just say I knew a lot more about deliverance than in my younger days. So I had been expelling demons, getting rid of all that fear and other things, other demons. You could call it assimilating into one person the multiple personalities that I had developed through disassociation or whatever terms that you want to put it in. So yeah, I heard that voice, and it was just such a kind of a smart-ass mocking. My name's Wishbone. I was one of you first. And then having that kind of zoop, because of course, suddenly hearing this voice as clear as a bell from inside my head right by this ear, that was so weird. It was so weird. And then, so I was looking in to this empty space, and it's like I saw this, it's like I had this little guy living in my head. Well, I could see this dude, like what he looked like. And he just looked like just some kind of criminal sort of guy. It was like he was wearing just dark clothing, leather jacket in a sort of, kind of like a licorice black colour. You know, that greeny black, and I couldn't help but be reminded of that book, Motley Crue's The Dirt, when Nikki Sixx was talking about how he was wearing these leather pants for some horrible amount of time, like 2 months or something, I mean, it was just kind of unclean, just an unclean spirit that I could sort of see there, and it was like I could feel this kind of character going, well, Wishbone's me mate, and if he's out of here, then I guess I am too. Because of course, why would Wishbone announce himself like that? He knew it was time to go. And yeah. So the next thing that happened was, it's like, I felt this thing leaving me. Maybe they both left together. I don't know. It was just so weird. It was creepy. And it was really painful because as this thing, it's like I could feel it leave. Maybe it came out my ear. I don't know, but I just got this pain, like a dull pain in my head. And now when I said I could kind of perceive the feelings of this, not Wishbone, but Wishbone's mate, I didn't hear any words then. That was just this impression that I got. Because I could see this thing to the right of my vision. And I tell you, it's such a weird experience. But anyway, I felt this nasty, dull pain, and I heard a voice say, bitch, as it left. Like, this thing hated me. Wishbone. And actually, tell a lie, I didn't hear the second demon, not Wishbone, the other one. It's like I could pick up its feeling, because he told me it's his name. So yeah, first I hear, I'm Wishbone. Oh no, sorry, my name's Wishbone. Or either one, doesn't really matter. I was one of you first. Then zip with the eyeball thing, see this character that's just kind of, no, yeah. Now that you know I'm here too with him, it said to me, and I'm Chaos from the Crypt. And and then pain in my head, and that voice from, it wasn't Wishbone, they had different voices. Wishbone's was much more mocking and maybe a little bit camp, like, dare I say, homosexual, kind of, you know, that sort of woman-hating kind of gay. And yeah, Chaos from the Crypt. was just malignant. Hated my gut. They both hated my guts, but yeah, they were a pair, and they left. And then I kind of came back to having just normal vision, as in looking out from here, not having like eyes in the back of my head looking into my skull. And yeah. So because of what the demon named himself is, yeah, was that the open door? Quite likely. Quite likely. I believe it was. And I'm glad to be rid of those two. And I don't know. I don't know. I would dissociate with certain things. And because Dunedin, boy, it's it's a lovely place. It's beautiful, but you know, that's where you find the other side, don't you? And there's a lot of people who practice witchcraft in this town. Always has been. Fortune telling has been a big thing. Scottish, English, especially Scottish history or roots. There's a lot of magic, and people who've come over here who were very in pain and wanted to contact their sons or husbands or brothers, whatever, and didn't know any better, but or then to try and contact them in the spirit world. I mean, it's understandable. It's banned in the Bible, and you really shouldn't do it. Not if you know what's good for you. But that was so this town is very, very strong as far as witchcraft stuff goes. In fact, it's I just can't believe some of the things that has happened to me. Like, I am I mean, cancel culture, it's always been a thing. You know, forget about these days. They're just calling it cancel culture now because, you know, that's the global term. Was it the 50s in America? McCarthyism. You get blacklisted. And so, yeah, that's just something I've had to put up with since I was tiny. Tiny! I remember going to, I believe it was some kind of camp. I don't know if it was probably just a weekend. I don't know how long it was for, but it was like before we started school. Don't think I was at school when this thing happened, but I have two distinct memories of being like surrounded by a lot of old ladies who did not give off loving, friendly vibes to me. I was lying on a table or a bed or table. They were all around me. There was probably seemed to be about 8 of them. But yeah, a very distinct memory of one of them saying she's got the blue mark. And if you know anything about Rosaleen Norton, who was literally born in Dunedin on a dark and stormy night on the 2nd of October 1917, that might mean something to you. yeah, Rosaline Norton said something like she knew she was born to be a witch because she was born with a blue mark on her knee. I have a blue mark on my knee, and I'm totally not interested in. I am not a witch. I, oh. And if I ever pretended to be, I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't know the Bible. I didn't know the Bible. I mean, Jesus said himself, my people are destroyed through lack of knowledge. So much of my life has been destroyed because of that lack of knowledge. So I really hope that this helps somebody. So anyway, that was one memory. Yeah, being, I don't know, was I naked or something? Or did I have clothes? I don't know. Did anything else happen? I don't know. But just being, lying on a table or something, surrounded by about 8 old ladies all wearing long white robes and saying she's got the blue mark over me. And the next thing I remember is being in a, I don't know, was it a hall or some sort of meeting spot? And there was this, I mean, I've no idea where this took place. But anyway, there was this, I'll tell you what, he looked like a bulbous, bloated toad, this man. Just his body and his appearance and just because what we had to do to get the letter from, like, our mail, the letter from our parents that had been sent to us while we were on this camp. I don't know how long the camp was for. But to get the mail, we had to, I mean, the boys went first, and even that kind of put me off because I'd just grown up in a world of, like, you know, watching movies on TV and, you know, even when you're little, you hear about the Titanic and, you know, it's women and children first. So for the boys to go first just struck me as unusual. And I was just a bit kind of, yeah, well, that made me feel uncomfortable. Like, isn't it girls, shouldn't the girls be going first with this thing? And so anyway, I couldn't help but notice how a lot of the boys would hold their hand out. I mean, they would stand and, like, really reach forward and hold their hand out. Like, they clearly didn't want to go anywhere near this guy. They obviously felt the same way I did. Like, you know, leaning forward with your body and then, like, putting as much distance as possible between them and, yeah, shaking hands with this guy. I mean, he was probably, I don't know, I couldn't tell you how old he was, but old and ugly and unhealthy. And seem to remember he was in, I mean, not a kind of, you know, navy blue business suit, but just a brown kind of, I mean, there was just something about him. And I just started getting more and more anxious. And then the girls had to actually go up to this creature and give him a kiss on the cheek. And I just, I tell you, I was just rooted to the spot. I could not move. I mean, I didn't have that sort of contact with my parents. They never touched me, unless they had to. Um, oh, and I just remember, yeah, these little girls, these little blonde girls, just sort of, they did it and that, but I mean, I wanted to so badly because I knew it wouldn't work out well for me. I just so wanted to do what everyone else but I just could not bring myself to do it. So I think I spaced out. I just kind of zoned it, because the next thing I remember is somebody coming up to me and saying, "Oh, you've got to go and give him a kiss on the cheek." And so I just remember saying, "I don't want my mail, or I don't want my letter." Yeah. So then I watched as they went up and told this person, Mr. Toad King. I mean, honestly, he was like something from a bad fairy tale. Ugh. And I just remember the way he kind of went, like, boy, was he offended. And then him just looking at these other men who were, three short little lieutenants or something. And then they all just looked at me like, oh, it was scary. It was scary, but I just could not bring myself to do it. And that was the reaction, and I was horrified. Back in those days of, you do as you're told. I mean, I wanted to, I just couldn't. I just could not. And then, so yeah, it was like, right from when I first started school, there was always some nasty woman. It was like I was under surveillance. Just prevented from doing what I enjoyed and what I was good at. So it was just, So anyway, for anyone else out there who has to put up with, just, hey, just, it is what it is. And sometimes you just have to accept what other people give you when you have no power to do anything about it. But as a believer, I can't quote the exact scripture, but it is written that we have the authority to, crush these serpents and toads and things. I'm thinking it was likely to be a Freemasonry thing, especially with the bros before hoes, dare I say it. With the men going first and the women not, and just being, honestly, it was just the one time in my life where I was just desperately like, why couldn't I have been born a boy? or maybe to please my mum too, who was not pleased when female me came out. But anyway, honestly, I can just feel my body kind of just going, no, it shouldn't have happened. It was so creepy. That was so horrible. But yeah, for anyone else out there, you know, give your life to Jesus. He's the only God who can give you eternal life. If you make it. If you make it there. And, yeah, not every day is promised. And by the way, I just want to say, may God strike me down tonight if I have lied or not told the truth about my witchcraft experiences and things that have happened to me. Yeah. Yeah. I was just watching Good Fight Ministries. Did David rape Bathsheba? Now that's a good thing to watch. And yeah. One thing I would never do is falsely accuse a man of rape. So God strike me down tonight if I ever have. Don't want to wake up tomorrow morning if I'm lying about that. So, yeah. Sweet dreams, people, or have a good day if you're on the other side of the world and watching this. I mean, you never know. I don't have too many subscribers, but yeah. Yeah. Time for me to stop. And yeah. Post this on YouTube. Have a really good night, day, whatever. Love you lots. Bye.